सबका विश्वास लेकर के वो कर रहे हैं। उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद। श्री विंसेंट बालाजी।
Thank you, sir. Sir, please allow me to speak from this chair. Sir, I'm very grateful to my party for giving me the opportunity to speak on these very important issues, where I can raise my very important concerns in this demand for grant for 2022 and 2023 road transport and highways. Sir, like many of my colleagues have said that this ministry is a very important ministry because at least 1.3 lakhs of the national highways and 1.8 lakhs of state highways. And out of these, almost 60% of the total goods were being transported through the highways, and 80% of the passengers have been transported through the highways. Therefore, it's very important. But at the same time, I would like the Minister also to clarify that there's always been a comparison between the UPA regime and the present regime. But many of people, they do not know that there's a change in the formula for calculations of the construction system from a linear system to a lane kilometer system. For example, during the UPA government, if a 10 kilometers road is constructed, whether it's a 2-lane or a 4-lane, we say 10 kilometers. But in the present system, if a 10 kilometers road is constructed for 2 lanes, they say 20 kilometers. For 6 lanes, they say 60 kilometers. So I think it's totally wrong to compare. So this is what my colleague has said, that during the Congress they have not done well. But this is totally wrong. There's a change in formula, change in name, and the present government is very famous in that. So they should not take the credit of all those which have done. Rather, if you see out of 388 projects which have been allotted, not even half of them have been completed. The NHAI, if you see in terms of depth, the NHAI has got almost 3.3 lakhs depth in it, at almost 63,300 crores per year depth in it. When this government took over, the investment from the private sector was almost 37%. As of now, it's only 7%. So there's a deficit in trust by the private government, by the private parties in investment in the national highways. So they don't trust this government. That's why they reduced from 37% to 7%. And in terms of borrowing, this government, when this government took over, the borrowing was only 5%. But as on today, the borrowing is 40%. So more liabilities than assets has been created by this government. Not only that, there's a project has been delayed. If you see the cost overrun, almost more than 8,120 crores the ministry has to bear, the government has to bear, only because of the delay of the projects. If you look in terms of the main delays, the land acquisition, when the UPA government was there, we used to pay almost 92 lakhs per hectares for the land acquisition. But in the present government, they pay 3 crores 13 lakhs per hectares. So there's an increase of 240% in terms of, in the last 6 years in terms of the cost, even though there are lots of delay in the project. When it comes to road safety, I'll be happy if the minister kindly note this. In my constituency, in a 200 span kilometers, I'll be happy if you initiate an inquiry. 200 span kilometers, there are 22 check gates. And I am sure that the national highway, I don't know, the ministers and officials, the police, the state and the city, they must be cutting out of this. I've written a letter to the minister why these check gates are there almost every 10 kilometers, and some of them every 5 kilometers, there's a check gate, and the police are there who collect money from the people. And when I travel from here to I used to drive personally from here, from Delhi to Shillong, I hardly see any check gates on the way. But if...
Check gate or toll gate?
Check gates, sir, check gates. Toll gates are as per norms. But toll gate, when I raised a question in this house, they said that these check gates are illegal. How can they perform in the property of the national highway if it is illegal? If the officers are not involved, the comments are not involved. Therefore, I request you to take initiative to set up inquiry so that many accidents happen. Today, almost 1.5 lakh people are dying because of accident. In my constituency, I've seen many times accidents happen because all of these check gates. And at night, these check gates are no more a check gates, become a place where they can loot. I used to say it is an ATM of the people of the government. So therefore, I request you to have a serious note on this. And also I want to say that if you look in terms of the colleagues have said about the black spots, out of 3,996 black spots have been identified. You have almost rectified only 60% of it. In certain areas, every constituency we have written to the ministers, they have identified it. We have written a letter to the local, to the state government to send it further to the central government for this accident to happen. But up to now it has not been rectified. This has caused a lot of traffic jams. I have in my constituency the roads which has been approved on principle by the, I've got a letter from the Honorable Minister, Honorable Union Minister, that the road has been approved on principle. But I am told that the Minister has approved it, whereas the Prime Minister stalled all these programs. I have two main very important roads. That is from Nong Stoin, it goes right up to the border of Bangladesh. And from Nong Stoin, it goes right up to Guwahati to connect this road. And this road has been approved in principle, but it's been stalled by the highest, they said by the highest authority, that is the Prime Minister's office. And also another road is from National Highway from Dakia up to Haflong to connect Meghalaya and Haflong. And this road was approved on principle to be considered a national highway. That also has been stalled. So I'll be happy if you can at least clarify to my people why this has been stalled, whether there's a scarcity of fund, or maybe that the power of the minister has been cut off by the Prime Minister. There's also that there's also in the SRADP, which has been supposed to be sanctioned very fast. But in recent meeting which we have is that the cabinet has to take a decision in terms of expanding the fund. I think you have to make a cabinet note, and they have to, now most of the projects in the northeast, what our colleague has said, most of the projects in this has been stalled because whatever the commitment has given in those days has been exceeded. Therefore, the cabinet has to expand that. So if you travel, recently I traveled from Assam to Arunachal. If you see, now no work has been there, no work is going on, because why? When I asked the contractor, I stopped. I asked the contractor why. They said there's no money, there's no fund. Many like this in the northeast. The name is very good, SRADP, whereas actually on ground they have not sanctioned any work because there's no fund. The capacity or whatever we say, that has been over. These are a few things which I would like to say. And also I would like to say that in the northeast especially, walking is a challenge. The walking is a challenge. That's why for the cement sale to be increased, at least the road has to be good. Therefore, I request the minister to take note, especially on this, so that at least the work in the northeast can be also make faster. And we have almost 400 kilometers along the border. So all these roads which connect between the mainland and the cities and the border, all these roads, be it in Tura, be it in Dauki, all these roads, the condition is very bad. So I think the fund for repair also, I think, is insufficient. Therefore, if you look overall, the marketing of the present government is very good, but in ground reality, this government has failed in everything in the northeast, especially in the highways. So with these words, thank you.
Thank you. सभा की कार्रवाई सोमवार 21 मार्च 2022 को प्राप्त 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।